you so much. You saved my life. My definition is you got individuals and you got organizations. Now, by organization, it could be a company, a school, a church, whatever. Any group could be like a country, a state. It's how they use their scarce resources. And I'm sure I misspelled everything. I don't know. Scarce, or do we all have scarce resources? We don't have unlimited amounts of resources, right? To take care of our wants and our needs. It's how we all use our scarce resources to take care of our wants and our needs. Now, I messed up on that, on the second line. Where did I mess up on?
The need.
What's that?
The need.
Okay, where does that need to be? Where does needs need to be? First. It's not wants and needs. That's American. When you get paid, what's the first thing you do? You go get that thing you've been waiting on. And then hope you pay your rent. Because rent ain't fun, but buying this is fun. So really we need to take care of our needs first. Our wants second. The worst check I ever wrote in my life. I was pulling out of our little driveway over there on the old house, on the schoolhouse, and we had a garage door opener. I just push a button. And I pulled out, I remember thinking, man, this is so awesome to be able to just push a button. If it's raining, I just, not have to mess with it. 2 days later, what happened?
Didn't run out.
It quit, the spring broke. So the door didn't work anymore. It was one of those 1960s old, thick, wooden, heavy doors. So you had to go out there and I had to pop the little thing So our tax money was coming in. It was gonna be about $1,100. Our tax money was coming in. So what was I thinking about? What fun stuff can we buy with this money? This is extra. So the guy came and he said, okay, we can replace the spring, but all that's gonna happen is it's gonna break again because that door is so heavy. Or we can replace it with a real light aluminum door and you'll never have trouble with it. I went, I guess replace it. $750. I hated writing that check, but kind of had to. I would have had little Christy trying to lift up a door. If it was just me, I probably would have done that. But anyway. So does this make sense? That definition of economics. All right, the next thing. The factors of production. It looks like a lot, but we're going to take our time. It's not going to be full sentences. I know that's too much to ask to write a full sentence. What about an essay? What time do y'all write an essay? Is that okay? No. I want to do that. Okay. First one is land. The first factor of production is land. And land is the resources you use to make a living. Now I'm going to try to get a point across here. If you're a farmer, what is your land? It's your land. Does that make sense? The resources you use to make a living. For a farmer, land is their land. What is land for me? What do I use to make a living? I have a pen, I have a mouth, I have a whistle. I have to have a whistle. If I'm at practice with no whistle, I bought some cheap lanyards earlier this year, and one of them snapped. 2 of them snapped this week. I just do that. I'm not, I'm trying to break a record or anything. Anyway, does that make sense? Whatever you use to make a living, that's your land. That's your resources. Labor. What's labor?
Work.
It's the work that's got to get done. Now, there's two choices when it comes to labor. What's the two choices you have?
Work or don't.
Well, you do it, or what? You pay someone to do it. Whether you're a company or whether you're a person. You either do it, or you pay somebody. If you own the company, if you do the work, what do you not have to do? You don't have to pay for it, so it saves you money. If you do pay for somebody to do the work, what had better happen? You better be able to make a profit off that. If it's going to cost you money, you better be able to make money off of it. Does that make sense? So either you're doing it or you're paying somebody. At your house, what's the only reason you pay someone to do it?
You don't want to do it.
Well, you can't, or like with, okay, I can change plugs out, I can change light switches out. Only once in my life has the wrench or the screwdriver flown out of my hand because I had touched the wrong wire. The old house, their wiring was not right. It was all crossed. So you flick the breaker and the lights here and the light switch and the plugs on this other room were connected to that. And the light switches and the plug, it was all backwards and mixed, and so I went to grab and thankfully I'm gonna pay someone, we don't have the money to do it, but I paid someone to fix our air conditioner because I couldn't do it. We had our heater go out about 15 years ago in that old house. Christy was gone, middle of football season, no, it was in playoffs, and it was like 20 degrees, and they were gone to her mom and dad's house. So I pull the thing off the heater, I pull it off and I'm looking at everything. I don't know, I'm just looking, and I start pulling things out and putting it back. And I'd unplug it and pull this out and put it back. And, and I did about an hour, I'm sitting there touching things and messing. I did this, plugged it back in, it worked. So now I know how to fix the heater. So it would go off, and I'd go unplug it and mess that little thing, and start up again. So I didn't fix the heater, I got it for it to work again. But I did eventually pay for somebody to come fix that. But it does cost you money. So if you can do it, you do it. If you can benefit from paying somebody, like if you can't fix the air conditioner, you benefit from paying somebody if you have the money for it. If you don't have the money to fix the air conditioner, what do? Raise the window, turn the fan on, and grind and sweat. All right, the next one is capital. Capital basically is money. But my definition is anything you own that you can put back or use to make a profit. Anything you own that you can use to make a profit. In my non-existent mowing job, if I buy a lawnmower, is the lawnmower capital? Yes, because I bought it, it's paid for. What if I'm making payments on the mower? Is the mower capital? Is the payment capital? Because I'm using that to make a profit. So anything you use to make a profit. And last, and I can spell this perfect, it's entrepreneur. 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 I guess that's French. Entrepreneur. You ever heard of an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur starts a business. Okay? They start a business. They see opportunities. Before they happen. They see the opportunities before they happen. And then they're willing to take a risk to make it happen. see the opportunities before, and they take a risk to make it happen. Sometimes you can see an opportunity, but you don't take the risk to make it happen. Me and my best friend Lane, he had a little boy, and then I had a little boy. And back then, the only clothes you could get for little boys was you had to get the little suit when you could get to the diaper. And they had either a sailboat, a little bear, or a choo-choo train. And I wasn't real big fans of my little boy having a choo-choo train or a little teddy bear. I wanted to have like something. But they didn't make stuff for little kids like that. Me and Lane were talking about it. He says, yeah, why don't they have, you'd make a killing if you could make like college sports stuff, baby size. I know they do that now, they didn't then. Or like a shirt and jeans combination that you still get the diapers out of. And just we come up with all these ideas. We said, yeah, everybody would buy one. Every baby that was born, they would buy one of our things if we could come up with this. Like, oh my gosh, we're onto something, because this would work. We don't sew, and we don't have any money. So we could go to some clothes place and say, hey, we got this great idea. Well, and they would say, that's stupid. And then we'd leave. They go, okay, now let's get to work and get this. So we had a great idea, but we weren't willing to take a risk to make it happen. I think it would have worked if we had known how to sew. Anywho, do y'all know who Ted Turner is? Ever heard of Ted Turner? You have, but you don't know. He was in a advertising family. This family owned an advertising business in Atlanta. And he graduated from college in the 60s. And he was, they weren't rich, but they weren't hurting. They probably went on vacation and stuff. He was working for this family, and he ended up buying this small little rinky-dink TV station, independent TV station. You had ABC, CBS, and NBC. And then you had an independent station. You broadcast however far your antenna broadcast, and you'd have like Andy Griffith or cartoons, Bugs Bunny, Three Stooges, all that kind of stuff. TV Land. Y'all know TV Land? All the TV Land stuff. Y'all need to know TV Land. Anyway, all his friends said, this is stupid. We'll never make any money out of this. He goes, I have an idea. I got a plan. Then they started putting satellites up. Communication satellites. And he rented space on these satellites. And his friend said, what are you doing that for? He goes, I got a plan, I got an idea. And then in 1976, he bought the Atlanta Braves. Now, buying the Atlanta Braves in 1976 is not buying the Atlanta Braves in 2025. It was under $1 million, and he borrowed everything he had, he sold everything he had, used his money, his mom's name and stuff. And he bought the Atlanta Braves. He named himself manager for one game in Major League Baseball. Said you can't do that. And then he put all the Braves games on his TV station. Today, could you find a way to watch almost any team you wanted to watch? Mm-hmm. Yeah, almost every game. Back then, there was one baseball game a week, and 5 times a year, one of the local stations would carry it. And there was one college football game a week. There was 2 NFL games a week. He said, I put all my games on this TV channel. And his friend said, you're stupid. How did you make money back then with the baseball team? What'd you make money off of?
How people come out and watch.
People come out and buy a ticket. And then people said, why? No one's going to come watch the games anymore. They're going to watch it on TV. Why would they come and spend money? They can watch it for free. He goes, I got an idea. So they started doing cable systems. Y'all know what cable TV is? You have the cable run to your house, and there's somewhere that has a satellite dish, and it picks in all the stations and sends it to your house. Now, places in Montana and West Texas and North Dakota and Nevada and Utah didn't have TV because they couldn't pick it up. So these cable systems came in. Now people had TV, and you'd buy, they had like 12 stations. There'd be the local stations, ABC, NBC, all that stuff, HBO, and then all of a sudden Channel 17 out of Atlanta is on all these cable systems. And people in the middle of Utah that don't like baseball, they go, wow, I can watch a baseball game every day. So people all over the country started watching the Braves. And advertising money came in. And he made a lot of money off that. And he said, I'm going to start a 24-hour news station. And people said, you're stupid. Who's going to watch the news for 24 hours? So he started CNN in 1980. He bought all of MGM's old movies and started Turner Classic Movies. He started Cartoon Network. Chuck and Shaq and Ernie and Kenny. Who is that? You've watched them before. Who is that? Chuck and Shaq and Ernie and Kenny. Oh, Chuck, what are you doing? You stupid. That TNT basketball?
Yes.
TNT or TNT? There's TNT and there's TBS and there's...
I think it's TNT.
He started this broadcast empire before anybody thought anything about that kind of stuff. And he sold it in the mid-90s for $9 billion. And then they paid him to stay on as a consultant. All because he saw something before it happened and he was willing to take risks to make it happen. I'm not like that. And are these people always successful? No. Most times they're not. But Donald Trump's an entrepreneur. Anybody who starts a business is an entrepreneur. But does that make sense? You gotta have this for capitalism to work. All right, 3 economic questions. We're gonna do this for a business, and then we're gonna do it for y'all. Over Christmas time, I figured out that Papa John's was in Bridgeport. And I've only been to Papa John's a couple times, and I like Papa John's. I think part of why I like it is because I didn't have it very much. You know, I mean, it's good. Do we have enough pizza places in Bridgeport and Decatur? We got any kind you want. You got the Zano's and Pronto's, which is more real pizza, and then you got all the junk pizza, and then you got, you know, some other ones. But the first question, if you're a business, you got to ask. Here's the reason I did the pizza stuff: is what are we going to produce? What are we going to produce or offer? So if you decide you want to start a business, would it be the best idea in the world to come into Decatur or Bridgeport and say, I'm going to have a new pizza place? Because you got to look at the demand. What you want to ask is, what kind of demand is there? Is there something that's not being offered? If you're a mechanic, you could open up a place that just works on brakes. What would be great about just doing brake jobs? You can get really good at it. And maybe everybody brings their brakes to you. What if you're a mechanic and you do everything? You get more business, but what do you have to do? You got to know everything. So when you come in, you got to decide what kind of demand is there, what's not being offered. Is there something I can throw out there that could probably go here? Second thing, how are we going to produce it or offer this? The Irwins. It's not even the Irwins anymore. It's the Gentrys. Used to be the Irwins. They got the cantaloupes and the watermelons. Right here on the river bottom. You know what I'm talking about? Out here. They could take their pickup and park on the side of the road and sell cantaloupes and sell watermelons. And they do that some. Do you have to pay for rent, or do you have to have a building, or do you have to do? They can do that. I think they sell to certain stores around here. I know they sell to Walmart some. So how are we going to produce this? How are we going to offer this? And the last one is, who are we going to produce this for? Offer this to. If you're a business, that's the questions you ask. As an individual, you guys are asking this question right now, and some of y'all might be losing sleep over it. What am I talking about here? The rest of my life, career, job. What am I gonna produce? What am I gonna offer? What am I gonna do for a career, for a job? And if you hate 4 years of high school, you better not hate what you're gonna do for the next 40 to 45 years. Does that make sense? You don't need to hate that. So how do we figure this out right here? What's that?
Okay.
Yeah, how do we figure out what we're gonna do
Like,
for the rest of
you
our life?
go and try out different things in different work fields.
Okay, that's pretty good. I know it was a long time ago, and I know it was a teacher talking, but do you remember what I was gonna be an architect? Do you remember why I was gonna be an architect?
Cause you like.
I love designing floor plans and buildings. I love doing that. And then you had to add and subtract and divide and sine and cosine and all that cuss word stuff, so that's out. Why was I gonna be a sportscaster?
Cause you love sports.
I got fired up I thought about that. I was like, oh my gosh, that would be so awesome to be able to do that. I took what I loved and what I was interested in, and there's a job I could do. And then ended up doing this. So where do you start when you figure out your career? Where do you need to start?
What you like?
What's some things you like? What are you interested in? What do you love? That's not good. What are your interests? What do you love? What fires you up? What are you passionate about? Try to find ways to make a living with that. There's a reason you were made like that. So, if nothing else, at least you wake up every day excited about what you do. If you're gonna do it for the next 40 years, you better be excited about it. Maybe probably more than 40. Because y'all might live longer. Yes, sir. Over here. I'm not excited about them finding new ways for us to live longer. I don't need that. That means I need to work longer to make more money to survive, because I don't wanna work. All right, now, once we figure this out, what's the next thing we gotta figure out?
Where are you gonna go?
What do I need to do to get this? What's the things you might need to get this? You might need to go to college. You might need some kind of training. You might need technical school. What's great about the military?
You have free school.
You get free school and they pay you to teach you this thing. And you might be able to figure something out. You love to get some training there. I knew one guy left here and he went in the Air Force and did air traffic control. They paid him to learn how to air traffic control. Now he does that for a living, which is stressful. But anyway, why should you go to college? What's the only reason you should go to college?
To get a degree.
Because you have to. You should not go to college unless you have to. If this involves a college degree, you have to go to college. You should never go to college. You should never spend time and money somewhere that's going to waste. So if this or this doesn't mean this, don't waste your time there. That doesn't mean success. Did I tell you not to go? No. Did I tell you you have to go? No. You've been cramming your head your whole life you have to go to college, right? You don't. Unless you have to. I had to. I almost quit my junior year because of stupid education professor people. Never tell a child they're wrong. You would damage their self-esteem. You know what I said to him? Raised my hand, had this weird look on my face. He says, "For letting me stupid." Mr. Ryle, that is not the right attitude. I just sat there the rest of the day. Mr. Ryle, you need to think about what you're going to be doing for a living. Well, I have, and I am. And anyway. First thing he said was, "Is anyone a PE major in here? You might need to switch classes. I tend not to get along with PE majors." I tend not to get along with weirdos talking to me. What about that? Okay. Now, who are we going to produce it or offer it to? What are you trying to figure out here?
What your target audience?
What's that?
What your target audience is.
Okay, yes. Who's going to pay me? That's pretty important, right? Got to pay rent. Who's going to pay me? You have two choices for who's going to pay you. What's one choice you have?
Judges.
What's that? Okay, you could do that. You could work for somebody and they pay you. So you could have a boss, you could be an employee. Or you could try to what? Try to be the boss. Have your own place. Be your own boss. You be the employer. Let the public pay it. Now, what's good about being your own boss? You get to pick. It's your choice. You get to pick, you get to choose. You get to make the decisions. Is there a higher chance of doing better if you're the boss, if you own your own business? There is. What's horrible about being the boss?
You don't make those.
You have to pick, you have to choose, you have to make all the decisions, and you have to live with the consequences. And you can't sleep at night because we had the snow cone stand. I couldn't sleep at night. Did I tell you all this? Because I had to constantly try to think of ways to make people come buy snow cones. So we have a snow cone stand payment we got to make. And if we don't get this many people, we don't make. And I'm up all night in summertime going, well, I'm not made for that. I can't do that. I can't hope people come buy stuff. Hope these kids come up and buy snow cones. I can't do that. What's bad about being the employee? You don't get to make the decisions. You do what you're told. Is there a limit to what you can do if you're the employee? Yes. What's great about being an employee?
You don't gotta worry about the decisions.
I come in, clock in, do what I'm told, and I clock out, and what do I do when I clock out?
Do it.
I go home. And am I thinking about that anymore? No. So, I'm not the head track coach anymore. It's pretty awesome. Because who has to make all the decisions and deal with the problems? That guy. I don't have to deal with any of that. I just laugh and giggle and teach some hurdles and teach some high jump and drive the bus. When it's done, I go home and I don't worry about who's running the next track meet or anything. That's what that guy has to do. Does this make sense? There's pros and cons here. Pros and cons. Okay. Last three, it won't take very long. We're done. A market economy is capitalism. The market makes the decision. Capitalism. It's decentralized decision making. When I say the market makes the decision, does that make some sense? And that's wrong, but who cares? What's that?
Decentralized decisions? Or
Yes, decentralized decision making. Everybody's making their own decisions. And actually, the market makes the decisions. If I own a store and I buy this product for $2, how much do I have to sell it for? $2.25. So I'll break even. To make sense, I gotta make a little extra. So as long as I can sell it for $2.25, I'm good. So what am I probably gonna start the price out at? I'm gonna go $2.75. So I'm offering this product for $2.75. And the market decides everything about this product. What does the market decide here? Is that too much? Is it too little? Do I even want this? So if nobody's buying it, if the market says we don't want this, what's my next decision?
Get something else.
Or I've already bought this, I need to sell it, so I'm gonna drop it to $2.50. Because the market decided I have to drop the price. And eventually maybe I drop it to here. And if I drop it to here, am I ever buying this product again? No. So the market decided, they might decide it's $5. But that's not my decision, that's the market decision. So that's a market economy right there. What would a command economy be? What kind of economy is that? Like you're commanded what to do. Communism. Communism is a command economy. There is centralized decision making. Does the market make any of the decisions? The government makes the decisions. The market doesn't make the decision. The government makes the decisions. So you see the differences here? Here the market makes decision. Here the government makes the decision. I don't mind yogurt places. Sometimes they're pretty good. What I don't like is when you walk up and say, because John described this for us earlier, this one's good. This one's garbage. So you go over here. And this one's good. But this one's garbage. What am I talking about here? Well, they have at the yogurt stores. You got vanilla, and you got orange sherbet. And then in the middle, what is it? Mix. Right? You combine them. And I can't ever find two of them that are good. This one's good, that was crap. Okay. And I'm not going to go, and then, I want it all mixed together. You know what I'm saying? So what's a mixed economy? Got a little bit of both. Everywhere has a mixed economy. America is not capitalism. It's capitalism with some communism. There's some government control over stuff. It's a mixture. Hopefully, it's mixed like this. Capitalism and communism. If we get capitalism and communism, then we're in trouble. It's really more socialism than that. But this makes sense. Mixed economy. All right, we're done. Was that the worst ever? It was the worst ever? Hey, you go home and cry now. Todd told me he's going to be a football player, a preacher, what was it? Marine biologist, and a zoologist. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how you do all that. Who is it?
Miss Scott.
Did you pass?
No, she's right.
Okay. Tell her I said yo. Does she teach chemistry still?
I had her for my chemistry
Miss
teacher.
Scott? She
Yeah.
does, yeah.
Okay. Because my chemistry teacher in high school was Mr. Bean. And he was a little troll looking guy. And he had chalk all over him. And it was not good. Not good at all. He's probably my age. And he did a little troll face. And he talked like this and kind of fat. And he would help the girls, but he wouldn't help any of us. Mr. Bean, I'll get to you in a second. I failed chemistry. Two planes were sent by Venezuela this weekend to pick up illegal Venezuelans here. What do you know about a lot of the what's in Venezuela? That's that gang. What's the I forget the name of it. That's the gang that's causing a bunch of problems, hurting a bunch of people.
Control.
Yes.
I actually asked one of my friends from Nakona
Uh-huh.
about the whole mafia thing,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's true.
Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. I said something about it. Oh.
The like the police will not mess with
Right.
that.
They own the whole town.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, I had to check because mafia's kind of crazy, especially in Nakona.
Yeah, they redid all this. It's nice. It's pretty. But that's funny. Mafia. The Nakona Mafia. Trendy Aragua. Trendy Wagua. I think that's how you say it. They're in the news all the time. In New York City, they've been indicted for a sprawling gun trafficking ring in New York City. That's good.
You said that one of them actually comes in to eat like on a regular basis to where he works.
Yeah.
So he just sees them. He doesn't cause any trouble though. He just,
There's your food service.
yeah.
Look up Nakona Mafia. Thank you. There's a horse, a racehorse from Nakona, called Nakona Mafia. I forgot to paint it.